The disclosure packet just landed in your inbox, and it's 1,000 pages long. Your offer is due in 48 hours. What do? Most buyers skim it, and that's where people make a $40,000 plus mistake. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what to do, what to look for, and essentially what matters, what's noise, and the sections that contain the information most buyers never find. My name's Natorie with EQ on Real Estate, and let's go through this carefully. First, let's orientate ourselves. A California disclosure packet typically includes several key documents. The transfer disclosure document, which is called the TDS. This is the primary disclosure document that sellers are legally required to disclose known material facts of the property. It covers the physical condition of the home, the systems, and any known defects. The seller property questionnaire, the SPQ, this goes deeper than the TDS, asking the seller specific questions about the history of the property, repairs made, insurance claims, water intrusion, neighbor issues, disputes, permits, history, and if there's an HOA, if it's applicable, HOA issues, and more. The Natural Hazard Disclosure Report, this is what's produced by a third-party company, and it discloses whether the property falls within a designated natural hazard zone, like a fire zone, flood zone, earthquake, dam, etc. It goes on and on. Essentially, what we're also going to be paying attention to is the permits and the permit history. Ideally, the history of permits pulled on a property is included. This helps you understand what work is being done, whether it is being done properly, and if it was done with permits. And if there's an HOA, the HOA documents, the financials, meeting minutes, rules, and restrictions. Each of these serves a different purpose. None of them are interchangeable, and skimming one doesn't mean that it will cover it in the other. Most buyers spend most of their time on the TDS, which is reasonable. It's a main document, but the seller property questionnaire contains most of the useful information and is frequently skimmed and skipped. I've seen this many times. The SPQ asks the seller direct questions that the TDS just doesn't. Things like, has the property had any no water intrusions or leaks? Have you filed an insurance claim related on the property? Are there any disputes with neighbors over boundary lines, easements, or access? Are there any unpermitted structures on the property? Read every answer. Look for vague answers on questions where specificity matters. Minor settling in response to a question about foundation issues, for example, is worth checking into. Unknown in response to a question about prior water damage for an older home, you should definitely inspect it. The seller is legally required to disclose what they know. They're required to disclose what they don't know. And this is why inspections still matter, even when disclosures are thorough. Unpermitted work is one of the most common issues I see in older homes, especially in Silicon Valley. It's one of the most misunderstood. What counts as unpermitted work? Any additions, renovations, modification to the structure. Then you have electrical, plumbing, or HVAC. That was done without pulling the required permits from the city or the county. Why does this matter? Unpermitted work may not meet current building codes. In some cases, it can affect the legal square footage of the home. An addition done without permits may not be included in the permit square footage, which can affect your financing and appraisal. And when you eventually sell, you can inherit the disclosure obligations, and you'll need to disclose the unpermitted work to future buyers. In some cases, unpermitted work can be retroactively permitted, depending on how it was completed. You can apply with the city, have an inspector review it, and if it meets the code, it gets permitted. In other cases, they will ask you to tear it down, maybe not even redo it. It truly does depend. Getting clarity on this before you close is absolutely important. How to find it? Compare the permit history to the current state of the home. If there's an addition that doesn't appear to be in the permit history, a finished garage, an additional room, an expanded kitchen, a laundry room that was converted, what have you, ask about it. Now, the other document, the Natural Hazard Disclosure Report, tells you whether the property falls within a designated hazard zone. Here's what matters to most buyers here in Silicon Valley. Fire zones. California has been increasingly aggressive about the designated high-risk areas. If a property is in a high or very high severity zone for fire, you're gonna pay a premium for homeowners insurance. And in some cases, many insurances may not even write a policy at all. making it that you have to go to the California Fair Plan. Without insurance, and if you have a loan, you won't be able to close. You need to have coverage in order to close. This is very real. It's a growing issue in many desirable areas, including parts of the hills, certain foothill communities, for example, like Cupertino, Los Gatos. You'll see this in Morgan Hill, San Jose, Saratoga, Woodside, Los Altos, and on. It just very much depends. And let's talk with an insurance broker prior to you even writing an offer so you are fully aware of what's going on. Now, also earthquake zones. Now, according to the Aliquist-Perillo Earthquake Fault Zone Act, it restricts certain types of construction near known active faults. If a property is in one of these zones, it doesn't mean that the home is unsafe, but it's definitely worth understanding. Now, thirdly, the flood zone. Flood zones designations affect whether you're required to carry flood insurance, which is just an additional monthly cost. These disclosures are produced by a third-party company and not opinions. They're based on official designations. Read them. Know exactly what you're getting into. If the property is in a fire risk zone, get insurance quotes before you even remove contingencies. Better yet, before you even submit the offer. Now, let's go over when to walk away based on what you're reading in the disclosures. This is important. Listen up. Not every red flag in a disclosure is a deal killer. Here's how we think about it. Manageable issues. Deferred maintenance that can be disclosed. It's very clearly priceable. A roof that's 15 years old, original windows, maybe you need a new HVAC because it's at the end of its life, or a water heater. These are factors that can be negotiated on, or you can walk away. It just depends. We'll evaluate it. Issues that require further investigation: disclosed water intrusion, even historic. The basement, evaluate the crawl space. Foundation repairs that have been done, neighbor disputes, unpermitted work of any significance. You should have a specialist come out and take a look before you commit. Issues that are serious red flags: active water intrusion. I actually ran into this about a month ago. Black mold ended up growing there. Significant undisclosed structural issues revealed in the inspection. Being in a fire zone where insurance is not available or even affordable. An HOA that is financially distressed. I also ran into this pretty consistently recently because cash reserves are below the recommended level, which essentially leads to special assessments. Then it's going to prohibit you on how many places will actually be able to provide you a loan. And then from there, it just gets even more hairy. Now, the goal isn't to find a perfect home. There isn't one. The goal is to understand what you're buying with enough clarity to make an educated decision and make sure that the price reflects the actual condition of the property. Reading the disclosure packet thoroughly takes time, but it's the best use of your time so that you fully understand and know what's going on with the property and you're completely aware. Don't skip it. Don't delegate it. Read it yourself and then ask questions. If you need a resource, I'll make sure to connect you. My inspection red flag checklist is in the description, and it's the exact list I walk through with every buyer when reviewing the property and its disclosures. If you found this to be useful, subscribe. I'm covering how to evaluate a home's true value versus the list price in the next video. That one directly connects to this. See you there.